that you really want to do it, and you feel like, God's right there, and you're just on fire for Christ in a sense. But and the next day, next week, you just hit a stumbling block, and it just feels like somewhat of the opposite. It feels like that, that feeling you had seems distant, and you feel somewhat of an insecurity, and you kind of feel like, well, where does God want me? And or it's just certain things like, you're on a good track, and we might think that we're holier than thou because, on my Bible app it says I have a streak of 20, so I must be really doing great for the Lord. You know what I mean? And and you are putting in that effort. I'm not discounting that, but at the same time, then you break the streak, and then you're just kind of like, oh, what happened? And you stop reading the Bible every day, and then it's just every so often, and then it leads to every Sunday, and then before you know it, you have work on Sundays, and you're trying to get back into the swing of life, and you just fall out of it, and you tend doing things that you don't want to do. And the thing is, I just want to tell you, you're not alone, because it's something I've struggled with, because as I'm preaching to you, I'm also preaching to myself. And so if you want to open up to Romans 7:15 through 25, this is KJV because of the fact that I was preaching something about this and used this verse in preaching to a teen group in Helena. So the KJV version does sound kind of like a big tongue twister, but here we go. So if I stumble my words, don't get too laughy. But the thing is, in Romans 7:15 through 25 is, for that which I do, I allow not, for what I would, that do I not. But what I hate, that do I. If then I do that which I would not, I consent unto the law that it is good. Now then, it is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me. For I know that in me dwelleth no good thing, for to will is present with me. But how to perform that which is good, I find not. For the good that I would do, I do not, but the evil which I would not, that I do. For the good that I would, I do not, but for the evil which I do not, that I do. Sorry. Now, if that I would not, it is more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me. I find then in a law that when I would do good, evil is present with me. For I delight in the law of God after the inward man. But I see another law in my members, warring against the law of my mind, and bringing me into captivity to the law of sin, which is in my members. O wretched man that I am, who shall deliver me from the body of this death? I thank God through Jesus Christ our Lord. So then with me, or with the mind, I myself serve the law of God, but with the flesh, the law of sin. And what I was saying there, it's a whole big burrito, and it's a lot to unwrap. But the thing is, I'm going to break off little pieces of it that I got from it, and things that are kind of towards this message. And if you didn't know, this is Paul here, and Maxsoft actually loves to bring this up all the time when he's preaching, because the thing is, he's saying that he's captivated by sin. It's like he's captivated by it. He doesn't want to do the things that he doesn't want to do, or he wants to serve God. He wills at serving God. And Lucas was bringing up the other day that it's blessed the man who mourns, right? And the thing is, he is mourning. He wants to do good, but at the same time, because of his flesh and his sin nature, he is doing the things he doesn't want to do. And this is bringing him into a mind and where it's just like he feels trapped, he feels imprisonment in his brain because of this. And this is so important, guys, because the thing is, our minds are so powerful. And you see, it leads me even to my next verse. And my next verse is 2 Corinthians 10, 3 through 5. If you want to flip there, you can. It's also on the board. And I have to get better at letting people flip to those passages. Go for it. But, for though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God, to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ. And in the original text here in Greek, Paul says the word dunamis, and dunamis is, the philosophical concept of power, potential, or ability, and it's also, as we talked about last week, the word originated as we get dynamite now. And so the thing is, I just wanted to bring that up, is because of the fact of how powerful this was. And it seems that the strongholds in your life are pulling you down can be really strong, and it leads me to a question. What are the strongholds in your life? What are strongholds that are holding you back? Because the thing is, we all have them. And the thing is, we need to bring this to the obedient and captivate it and bring it to Christ. And something that really caught my eye here was another study to just show how important and how powerful our brains are. Is the research done by Stanford University, and the title is Human Mind Shapes Reality. Because, does anyone know what a placebo effect is? Yeah. So, the placebo effect, if you didn't know, is when they give a salt or a sugar pill to somebody, and they're under the influence of it being something like a painkiller, or something to help them with their anxiety, or something in that line. And so Stanford University doctors would give these patients the placebo drugs, and they found that the people on placebo drugs were having the same effects as the people that were on the regular drugs. This is a powerful thing because it really shows that the placebo effect really affects our reality. Our brains are forming a reality based off of what we have. And you see Harry Styles up there. I know everyone's staring at that. But Harry Styles had the same thing. He was actually really felt like he was deathly ill because he was on drugs and doing all these things. And then the doctor or the pharmacist that he was asked the drugs he was on, basically told him, dude, those were placebo drugs. Within 2 days, Harry Styles was well and normal again. It's just crazy to think about how our brain can determine the way we depict reality. And this is why our reflection here, how this can affect our walk with Christ, is a lot of times, guys, what we think up here cognitively is what we'll do out in the real world. It's a lot of things that, and so it leads me to my next verse, Romans 12:2, a very famous verse. And it's, and be not conformed to this world, but ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. And you see, what I liked about this, and what I think is, and what I believe it's getting out in, is that we're transformed by the renewing of our mind, guys. We need to renew our mind. And it's sometimes as simple as prayer, but it could be in other things too. And it also, is we can't be conformed to this world and what it has, of course, but also we need to be transformed by the renewing of our minds. And I think a lot of things or I believe a lot of things that we can do is prayer. Prayer is huge in this, but I kind of broke it down in certain steps, and this isn't the end all be all, but it's something that, I feel could help us along this journey. And it's, like I said, overcoming negativity through positive habits and choices. And highlighting break the habits you need to break. And so for me, before I went to Bible college, a lot of the time when I was feeling anxious or stressed, or I felt like God was distant, or I felt like